And lands rights and left hooks to Lewis's body, and another left hook to Lewis's body as they were fencing, almost fencing, and Farr jumps into him and lands 2 right, 3 right. They're fighting close together there on the ropes. Farr
An old man on his morning walk down by the sea in Sussex, a spruce and successful businessman dreaming his dreams. Not a day goes past that he doesn't think once of that steamy New York night in August of '37. The night he so nearly won the World Championship. The night he fought Joe Louis. The night half Britain, and certainly all of Wales, stayed up to listen on their shiny new walnut wirelesses to the first ever relay of a sporting contest by transatlantic cable. Like here in his 1930s fight with Larry Gaines, it was easy to tell which was Tommy Farr. He was invariably the smaller man. In a professional boxing career that spanned 27 years, he took on mountainous heavyweights with the will and commitment of a terrier. A Welsh terrier, of course. His early winters were spent deep in the coal-black mines under his home. In the summers, he worked in holiday hotel dining rooms to see how the rich men used knives and forks, so he would know when he grew up to be a famous boxer how to dine with dukes and duchesses. But the Welsh stayed proud of their boyo who had broken free from the dingy drudgery of their dole queues.
There was 8 of us. I was one of 8.
Which one were you?
4 boys and 4 girls. I was the 3rd youngest. There were a brother and sister younger than me.
Where was that?
That was in Tonopandi.
Your dad was down the pits, was he?
He was in the coal mines, my father, but then I was in the coal mines too.
Through the Depression, in fact, the strike was...
Well, it was the thing, it was the area, really, the Rhondda Valley. It was a mining area. And I mean, you either went to the coal mines, you couldn't go out and do ballet, I promise you. 11 and 9pence a week. That was my wages.
You were boxing then?
Oh yes, I was boxing. I was a schoolboy. I boxed as a schoolboy, see, and then I used to travel up and down the Rhondda Valley.
Boxing professionally?
Oh yes. I remember the New Inn fight that I had that was way up from Clydach from Tonopandi, right up to Clydach where I went to work. And I boxed in the New Inn there, and I think I got, if I remember correctly, I got 3 and 6pence for a 6-round contest.
So then you'd go back and again be down the mines and in the booths in the winter?
That's right. You see, then I eventually had enough. I had the coal mines. Then I wanted to make boxing my full-time profession. Then I went away to the boxing booths.
Now, how many were there? Were there a lot in South Wales at that time?
Well, there was Joe Guess and there was Scarrett's. And then I joined Joe Guess. He was a hard taskmaster, Joe Guess, but he was a great tutor. We were taking the all-comers, you see. They'd say, well, will you go with Kid Farr? See, which is what they called me in those days. £1 for 3 rounds to go with Kid Farr. And I used to have, some nights, 5 fights a night. So...
And they fancied themselves, did they?
Oh, indeed. So having the 5 fights, you see, a night, I sharpened up the fisticuffs, so to speak.
Had you started saving any money by then?
I saved up in the post office £109. And the house, 59 Court Street, I bought 59 Court Street when I was 16 and 9 months. I bought it.
For the family?
That's right. For the young brother and sister, Douglas and Sally of mine, that was left with me, and I took it upon myself to bring them up and rear them up. As I said, my elder brothers and sisters, they'd left home, they got married, and then, like I say, I became father and mother to the younger brother and sister. And I bought this home for them and also for me. And we had a few years there of wonderful, supreme, sublime happiness, the three of us. I started to move up. I started to move up in the boxing profession. I became the light heavyweight champion of Wales. And I thought, well, I must get out now, get further ahead. So I thought to myself, well, right, where could I go in London to live? Well, I suddenly thought of Slough. And there was a great contingent of Welsh people in Slough, and I was told that there was a gymnasium and a hotel called the Dolphin Hotel.
Yes, yes, I know it.
And that, you do?
Near the stadium.
So I got to tell you, this is a funny story. There was, this Dolphin Hotel was in this row. So I got off the station at Slough, and I said, around the corner, they said, the Dolphin is around the corner up there. And as I was coming up, so to speak, there was this Lloyd's Bank on the corner. Well, I said, good God, I said, there's a Welsh bank there as well. You see, that's how unsophisticated I had, honestly.
But at boxing, he was becoming extremely sophisticated. The Welsh realized they had bred another Jack Peterson, as Tommy first learned, then sharpened and polished his talents. His year, 1937, had come.
Well, I had my fight with Joe Zeman in 37, I won.
Then who? Because in those days...
Then Ford was March.
He was the big South African.
March of 50. Yes, Ben Ford was a big, strong fellow. And, I mean, although he had beaten my countryman, Jack Peterson, forgive my saying, he was my cup of tea.
Of course, Ford towered over Tommy, who stood on tiptoe to do his stuff. This was for the title of the British Empire, second only in value to the World Heavyweight Championship. And now there were only two men between Farr and the fearsome Louis, a German and an American.
But then I fought in between Ben Ford and Noozle. I had boxed Max Baer.
No, he was a former world heavyweight then, wasn't he?
Max Baer, Max was a massive fellow, and he could bang. Max was the Adonis. I mean, he had that great body on him. He was what he was 16 stone 3, I think it was it?
But didn't he sort of mess around in the ring and...
Yes, he clowned. He was the prince, the clown prince of boxing. But then he could bang as well. If you stood long enough in one position and he got you, he said, you'll be out like a light.
To date, this was Tommy's finest performance. He wiped the smile from Max's face and then prepared a welcome for a large German who had arrived in London. The winner was to meet Joe Louis.
Noisel, well, that was wonderful because he destroyed my countryman, Jack Peterson. And I had everything in the world to go out there. I had every incentive to go out there. This was one that supposedly I had no chance. But then they reckoned without the positive thinking Thomas George Farr. And I was going to go in there, and I was going to do him a bit of injury, I promised you, which I did do.
Tommy Farr on the right, striped trunks, meets Walter Neusel at Haringey. The Welshman, British and Empire champion, is fighting the German heavyweight who has never yet been beaten by a British boxer. Neusel stands directly in Farr's path, and if Tommy is to get a crack at the World Championship, Walter must be removed.
I measured Neusel. I can relive the fight this very second, where he was clumsy. He came in banging away. Then I picked one out, a nice left jab, hit him on the nose. I got a bit closer, and I hit him again with a good left jab. Bang, bang, bang. The first round I went back, and Thomas Evans says to me, my trainer, how do you think you're doing? Well, I said, Bachani Bach, it won't last too long. No, he said, don't be confident. Don't be too confident, Tommy. He said, for God's sake. He said, look, and take care of yourself. Now go out there now and be good now, right? Out I went, second round, bang, 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 a little hook. And I was measuring him like a tailor. I wanted the right article. I wanted him to be there, perfect for me when I was ready to go. The second round, I outboxed him. Then the third come down, and Tom Evans, my trainer, the tears was coming down from his eyes. I said to myself, I said, be quiet, will you? I said, I'm out there to fight.
What does that mean?
Well, I said, what the devil's the matter with you? Be quiet, you see? So anyway, I went out for the third round, and Neusel, he came out, which was wonderful. He came to me a bit, and I said, oh, you had wonderful, wonderful. So I bang, bang with a good left jab, brought him to me, cracked.
The British champion is cool and clever. He returns Neusel's punches with interest, and he's got a left. The sensation comes in the third round. Right to the jaw rocks the German. Then a beautiful left, quickly followed up, sends Neusel down. While the count is in progress, he signals to his second, and it's all over, bar the shouting. Months ago, Farr was lucky if he got £100 for a fight. Tonight he's made over 400 a minute. The champion at last who has raised British boxing prestige to a height it hasn't reached for years.
You see, there was Goring, and there was a few more of the German politicians there.
At the fight itself?
Oh, indeed. And when I banged him on the chin, and when he went down on his tuchus, I mean, they walked out. Well, it was wonderful, but don't let us harp on that. I mean, I won, and that's all. I'm happy as a man in his right mind to say it.
By now, the superstar's bust in bronze was displayed at the Royal Academy, and music companies were not reticent about signing on the former chapel chorister. Had he kept any of his old recordings?
Of course, we've got the lot here. What's the matter with you?
Yeah, I'd love to. Come on, can we see it?
Right. Marvellous. I mean, I've got to put it on the table for this man.
How many did you make, records?
6, Frank.
If you're feeling lonely whenever we two are apart, just remember all the while you are in my heart. Please remember you're the one that I adore. Please.
I was romantic, you know. Do you hear the expression of words? Of course.
If I could take the stars out of
price of the pound note, I'll always get a pint.
Let's get back to the big one.
Please remember every hour of the day that I'll be happy, dear, wherever I may be.
Tony Pandy prays, and half the populace of Britain come to that. They would be up all night to hear, by the miracle of wireless, whether their boy could call a halt to half a century of jokes about Britain's horizontal heavyweights. No Briton had even challenged for this title in 40 years.
I trained down in Long Branch, New Jersey, and they did every mortal thing possible for me. I had the training quarters there, and I was just floating. I was in heaven. All this given me literally overnight.
You may perhaps have read something somewhere about Tommy Farr. Well, here he is in white, sparring at his training camp in New Jersey, while Jack Dempsey, that famous champion, watches the workout. Britain's super heavyweight is preparing his arguments for a little debate with one Joe Lewis, and Jack wishes him well.
Tommy, I want to wish you a lot of good luck. You're in great shape, and I know you'll come out with fine colors. All the luck in the world.
Thank you very much, Jack.
Tommy Farr, what make you think you will win?
I'm 23, the same age as you, and I've had over 3,000 rounds of actual fighting and never taken the count. You've only had less than 200 rounds of boxing, and you've been knocked out. All Britishers the world over can rely on my manager and me to win or die in the attempt.
Jolly decent of you, Tommy.
Those in the know were calling Louis the finest heavyweight the world had seen. The sleek young giant, grandson of an Alabama slave, had turned professional 3 years before and had won all but one of his 36 fights, 30 of them inside the distance. He would stalk his man like a tiger, and his claws were uncomfortably sharp.
Only one person that thought I had the meagerest chance, and that was Thomas George Farr. I believed in myself. I said, Joe Lewis, right, if he's got a bigger heart than me, I want to see it.
You met Louis before the fight?
Yes, I did, yes, and he's a delightful person. A delightful person. I mean, he's an undemonstrative person. He moves around and he speaks very slowly, but when he got in that ring, he was a different kettle of fish.
Where was the fight held?
In Yankee Stadium.
In the open air?
Oh, indeed, yes. I will never forget, I jumped in that ring, got in there, and then this wonderful crowd, this wonderful American crowd, they were such pity for me. I mean, going in with the brown bomber, the destroyer.
That morning, the New York Times had given Farr as much chance as Shirley Temple. Every other expert agreed. But Tommy set off with a perky fearlessness. He won the first round, and then the second, too, jabbing and moving, hitting and running, before Louis could settle into his deadly stalker's rhythm. What was it like to be in there with the brown bomber?
Methodically perfect, Lewis. No question about that. You see, Lewis, he stood like that, and his feet went there, and he was stealthily creeping up on you all the time. And where you moved, he would crawl there, literally crawl, with the footwork. And he could bang, there's no question about Lewis. I went back to my corner, and they told me what I had felt in there with Lewis, you see, and they very stupidly told me what I could do or what I couldn't do, which I knew all that anyway. But the matter of it is, that Lewis, I out-jabbed Lewis from time to time. And then I made him fight my way from the 3rd round to the 8th round.
But Louis had cut loose in the 3rd round and gashed Farr's eye. It was reopened in the 5th. But in the next round, the Welshman stormed back, cuffing the champion about the face and digging him hard and often in the ribs. Louis was not liking it, and the longer it went, the more perhaps did Tommy's tiny chance improve. For only once in his career so far had Louis been called on to go more than 10 rounds. Farr, of course, had many times fought the full 15. So Louis had to open up now. Was he landing any hard blows?
Did he have some good blows? He banged me, stupid idiot that I was. I walked into him, see, very forgetful, crack. He hit me right there, right in the middle of the forehead. And I felt my forehead blowing up like a balloon. And the round ended. I went back. I said, how is this? He said, Tom Evans, you see. He said, oh, that's nothing at all. Don't need to worry at all about that. I thought I was saying, well, worry. As I say, it was just like if I was in the middle of an explosion. Tom Evans and Joe B. Churchill says to me, well, you were not bad. You were not too bad. You were just about level. Now with him, I said, oh, Havred, wonderful, wonderful. So, went out for the 12th round. I did a bit of jabbing, a bit of boxing, and then I had a bit of infighting, because infighting was my speciality. And the 12th and the 13th round, I belted Lewis at infighting, and I thought I was a shade on top from what I'd been told in the end of the 11th round, which they confirmed to me in the corner when I had back Joby and Tom Evans. He said, Tommy, it's still nothing in it, but now then you win the 14th and the 15th rounds, he said, and you're going to be champion. So I went back and I invited Lewis at the end of the beginning, rather, not the end, the beginning of the 15th round. I walked out to the middle of the ring, and that was, talk about the actor of the year. I would have been the actor of the year when I went out there, because I was tired as hell. I mean, I was ready to go to bed, not call him out, I promise you, after that bang he gave me in the forehead. But I went out and I fought, stood toe to toe, and we had a fight, the 15th round.
Short left jab, which goes through his body, Farr's body. Another left, and Farr's is going right after him. Yes, Lewis's nose is bleeding slightly out there. Those punches of Farr's are having their effect. Farr's going right after him.
And back in Britain, of course, they were hanging on to every word from this wireless commentary, especially in Tonypandy, where 5,000 packed the assembly halls to listen, and then go bleary to bed, absolutely convinced their fearless lad had done enough to win.
Lewis's head, and they're swinging away at each other, and they're going hard at each other. There's a very hard left from Farr, caught Lewis on the side of the head. The crowd are really excited. And they're shooting out punches there. Lewis can't stop Farr now. Farr's going in there, going right in there after Lewis. Lewis isn't groggy, but Farr's going after him. He can't hurt Farr. And Farr lets him know that, and Farr jumps into him, and he's crashing blows at Lewis. Farr's jumping at Lewis, bombarding Lewis with blows. There's the bell for the end of the fight. There's the bell for the end of the fight. And they're giving Farr a great ovation. Any number of people jumped into the ring there. Any number of people jumped
I
into the
did
ring.
honestly think that it was cum si cum sa. I'm not going to cry because he got the decision. I wasn't all that much a winner, really, but it was shaded, and Lewis shaded me with those early left jabs, and I had the forehead to prove it.
And what immediately after the fight?
Well, I was treated as the winner in New York and wherever I went. But I wanted to get back to my beloved Tonopandi so much, and which I did do. I went down and they gave me a wonderful dinner at the Cross Keys, the public house in Tonopandi, at the Cross Keys, and I trained there, you see, and they gave me a wonderful dinner, and from there I thought, well, I was truly accepted as a heavyweight in Wales. I was truly accepted, and I think that was the first time that I had put Jack Peterson in the shade.
Hey, the old scrapbooks, I can't resist them.
Well, I
and
can't...
you kept everything.
Yes, yes. I daren't look at it, really.
Nova to meet Farr. Leicester fight for Farr. They were still in the old English days.
Yes, I've got another couple of...
Hey, who's this?
This is the wonderful thing of my life, because I came back then and I went to Olympia, the horse show, and Philip Turner, a very good friend of mine, introduced me to a gorgeous redhead. Her name was Muriel Montgomery Germont. She was a Devonian.
But you didn't call her by
No, she has been known to me ever since as Monty. We have recently celebrated our wedding jubilee anniversary.
Next stop, France. And Shoreham Airport over there, you've got everything. You can go anywhere, mate.
It is a wonderful spot.
Well, what about the modern day boxers?
In my day, we had the boxing. If you didn't go out and work, you went hungry. But today, there are so many things that stops you getting hungry.
Well, what about Ali? Now, he must have been Quicksilver. Would you have fought him?
Well, Quicksilver, he's very fast. Everyone tells me that he's very fast, but boxing is boxing. It's not sprinting. And for my money, Muhammad Ali is not my cup of tea.
Would you have beaten him?
Well, I think I would have beaten Ali. Yes, I would.
Louis would have beaten?
Joe Louis, he wouldn't have hit Joe Louis in the bottom with a handful of rice. I tell you, if I was asked to give an epitaph to my life, I'd say that I claimed that man is master who can stand life's blows and scars, whatever they may be. I'm as happy as a man in his right mind. And the little I have, I owe to boxing, and boxing doesn't owe me a thing.